of Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are NC.
There it is, a slider down and away. Here comes Alex to the plate, and the Royals win it on a wild pitch. And now Hosmer, left center field. That's going to roll all the way to the wall. Aviles to third base. A long relay to the plate is late. It has been an eventful homestand for the Royals, and it's not over yet. The final game is next on Fox Sports Kansas City. It's Felipe Paulino on the mound this afternoon. He's facing the Rays for the first time in his career. The Royals are going for their 5th straight win and a 3-game sweep over Tampa Bay. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Kauffman Stadium with Royals Hall of Famer Frank White. I'm Ryan Lefevre, and this is the 3rd time this year the Royals have won 4 in a row. This time around, it includes a couple of extra inning wins with some clutch hitting and some clutch relief pitching.
And the pitching and the hitting in this series is finally coming together. And when those two all come together, then you're going to get W's. And you saw it at its best in these first 2 games of this Tampa series.
Royals lost the game on Monday to Chicago, and then on Tuesday night, here's the jam. 9th inning, a runner on, tying run at the plate. Joakim Soria gets a double play to end the game. And then game 3 with Chicago in the 10th inning. It's Aaron Crow on the mound in a tie game. Runner at second base with 1 out. And Aaron Crow gets a fly out and a ground out. The Royals ended up winning that game in 11 innings, and now we move forward to the Tampa Bay series.
And Friday night's game in the 6th inning, there was a jam. The Royals got themselves in, and as 2 Rays on base, and Coleman came in and got the job done. And last night, Joakim Soria, the guy that everybody questioned early in the year, he's really doing a great job. Came in with the bases loaded, got a force out at home plate, and then he finished this inning off, Ryan, with 2 looking strikeouts.
Let's look at the numbers again. We got to go back to June 2nd when he regained the closer's role. He has been perfect in save opportunities, and you can barely see his ERA. 0.45 with the league hitting 181 against him. So that's the club relief pitching, the clutch hitting. Last night, Alex Morton with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th inning, doubled. And then the Royals went on to win it in the 10th. We'll talk more about that and today's starting pitcher, Felipe Paulino, when we come back. the Missouri Lottery. When you play, students win. And July is National Ice Cream Month. Celebrate with Bluebell's newest flavor, Dessert Trio. Felipe Paulino a week ago took a loss in Minnesota, but he pitched well. He struck out 8, going 7 innings, and it was the 3rd time in his last 4 starts, and he's gone at least 7 innings. Let's take a look at the lineup that he'll be facing today.
Desmond Jennings will lead things off for the Rays this afternoon, followed by Johnny Damon. Robinson Chirinos will be back behind the plate in this afternoon's game.
And a look at the Royals defensively, presented by Ram Trucks.
A couple new faces in this lineup for the Royals today. Mitch Meyer in place of Jeff Francoeur, Michael Belis at shortstop in place of Alcides Escobar, and you have Matt Trainer, who usually catches Felipe Paulino, behind the plate.
The game winner last night coming from Eric Hosmer in the 10th inning. That gives him 40 RBIs this year, and almost a quarter of those are game-winning RBIs. It's the Royals and the Rays, and the first pitch is next. And Royals baseball comes to you from Kauffman Stadium in high definition, brought to you by Time Warner Cable. Get no-fee HD with digital TV from Time Warner Cable. With the wind blowing in from the east, so it is refreshing today and an otherwise very hot homestand. Final game of the homestand before the Royals hit the road and go to Boston and Cleveland. Let's go out to right field and welcome in Joe Goldberg.
Ryan, you were talking about Eric Hosmer with the big hit last night. His team-leading 9th game-winning RBI. He is tied for the major league lead in game-winning RBIs for rookies with Freddie Freeman, 9th overall in the American League. How about all-time for Royals rookies in a season? Carlos Beltran with 14 in 1999. Then it's Ken Harvey and Clint Hurdle with 10. Next up, Hosmer, Piniella, and Seitzer with 9, and perhaps more to come for him. Talking to Royals Hall of Fame scout Art Stewart, he said he saw it for the first time back in high school, the 2008 Florida State Championship. Hosmer hit a 2-run triple to give his team the lead in the middle of the game, then came on to close it out with the save, throwing 95 to 90 out. He has had that knack for a number of years. Ryan?
So the star for the future at first base. And once upon a time, the star for the future here in Kansas City is exchanging the lineup cards with Royals first base coach Doug Sisson. That would be Johnny Damon, who is going to be the designated hitter for a 3rd straight game.
Well, Johnny always loves coming back here and be able to go up there and take that lineup card up. It's pretty special to him because he gets another chance to be out in front of the crowd, and he's just one of those guys that you just can't help but pull for every time you see him.
And it's nice to hear more cheers than boos these days when Johnny is announced at Kauffman Stadium. Producer Kevin Shank arriving at the ballpark today about the same time that Johnny Damon did, and said that Johnny and Stockton signed every autograph.
Well, that's not hard to do. I think that those kids, if you stand out in front of if you get there when the bus gets there, they go sprinting down there to the bus. And it's kind of nice, I think, guys getting off the bus and sign a few autographs for the guys and go on into the ball game. But when those guys stand up there in the heat waiting on those autographs and you don't get one, then it's not a good feeling.
Take a look at the Kia report for Felipe Paulino. These are his numbers since joining the Royals. He had a 7.36 ERA with Colorado, but 3.6 with KC. He's making his 10th appearance and his 9th start today, his first ever against Tampa Bay. And he's really become a horse in the Royals rotation. Altogether, 6 1/3 innings per start, 106 pitches per start, but lately he has gone 7 innings or more in 3 of his last 4. And how about 113 pitches or more in his last 4?
Well, when is the last time you had a pitcher go to the mound for the Royals and you referred to him as a horse? And usually you're talking about backing guys off of pitches and limiting their pitches. But with Paulino from day one, Ned Yost recognized that this guy's real strong. He can take the additional pitches, and I think those additional pitches have made him stronger and made him better.
Once again, our producer Kevin Shank, and he's so proud of this, and he should be, but we should start referring to Felipe Paulino, if he is the horse, Paulino the Palomino. A wonderful courtesy laugh, Frank. Thank you for that. Now he just has to figure out how to retire Desmond Jennings, and what a season debut he had. Just called up after the game on Friday with Reed Brignac being sent to the minor leagues. And Jennings, considered by many the Rays' top prospect from last year. He played in 17 games for the Rays last season, only hit 190, so the Rays figured he needed a little more time in the minor leagues. Called up last night, tripled in his first at-bat and scored, doubled with an RBI in his next at-bat, and then walked in his next 2 plate appearances, and that included a stolen base and a run scored. And he's working on trying to hit for the cycle. If you combine his last 2 games, he has everything but a home run. "86 degrees never felt better than it does today." It was 101 yesterday, 98 the day before that. We had some rain earlier this morning, so that has cooled things down. 94 degrees with the heat index. Started at 1:13 today. And the time and temp is brought to you by the parking spot at KCI.
No, Ronald, it wasn't a courtesy laugh I was giving you. It was going through my head on that Felipe the Palomino. I was just trying to figure out how you was going to bring it in. When the time came to say it, how were you going to work it into what you wanted to say?
Well, you got to give credit where credit is due. Johnny Damon, 4 out of 10 And the first 2 games with a couple of doubles. Johnny all by himself now, all time. 50th all time on the doubles list. He just passed Andre Dawson, who's in the Hall of Fame, and today is Hall of Fame Day in Cooperstown, with Bert Blyleven, our colleague with the Minnesota Twins, going in with Roberto Alomar, Pat Gillick, the successful general manager, most notably with the Toronto Blue Jays and the Philadelphia Phillies. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Johnny Damon. And then Dave Van Horn will get the Ford Frick Award, longtime broadcaster for first the Montreal Expos and now the Florida Marlins. And who knows, maybe one day we'll be watching Johnny Damon at Cooperstown.
That'd be kind of neat, especially if he's got a raw. He goes in at a raw. That'd be great. Spent a lot of time here. He got developed here, and I think his heart would be here. Most of his success came elsewhere.
Pops it up, and Moustakas veers into foul territory and makes the play. So Mike Moustakas with a little more bounce to his step after his first 2 games in the Tampa Bay series. He put an end to the 0 for 22 on Friday with a base hit and had a big game last night, driving in 3 runs.
Well, we can only hope that gets him on his way. A lot of times you get 2 or 3 hits in a game and you're driving runs, and you get to, a lot of it is feeling good about yourself. You get to feeling sorry for yourself, and you don't think this thing's ever going to turn around. And last night might be the night for Mike Moustakas.
So 1 on 1 out, and now Ben Zobrist takes a pitch high from Paulino. The Rays right fielder on Friday, and now he has started at second base the last 2 games. And Frank and I were talking about this last night. That's an odd combination, because you have one position that requires a strong arm, right field, and another position where a strong arm is really a luxury, and that's second base.
And Zobrist came up as a shortstop. He was at AA Corpus Christi when I managed in 06, and then he developed himself into more of a power guy when he went to the Rays. But he's been more second base, right field, and that, like you say, going back and forth from the infield to the outfield, I think it's a lot easier than going from the outfield to the infield.
Jennings runs, and the throw is not in time. Aviles tried to leap and apply the tag at the same time, but according to Tim McClellan, and we say according to Tim McClellan, Jennings got under the tag. Let's take a look.
My goodness. That play there, the only way you miss that play as an umpire is that you don't get a good look at it. He tags him on the back. They should have been able to see that right there, but you can't see the lead foot going into second base.
So Tim McClellan, from his angle, he just has to guess as to whether the tag was applied, and when the tag was applied, if it was the foot on the bag yet?
Right.
Second stolen base for Jennings. 3 balls and no strikes on Ben Zobrist. Paulino turning towards second base, and Mike Aviles had sprinted in from shortstop. Three and one. Ben Zobrist doesn't just play right field and second base. Last year he played 6 different positions for the Rays, and the year before that, when he was an all-star, he played 7 different positions. Off the right field line, and it's 3 balls and 2 strikes. And Joe Madden appears to be one of those managers who likes to have players that he can not only move around defensively, but move around in the batting order. Nice catch by a fan who brought his glove on this Sunday afternoon. And And that's lined into right field. Pass gets Meyer up with it in right. And Jennings, who had to make sure the line drive got through, he'll hold at third.
Well, Zobrist worked himself into a 3-2 count, and Paulino's going to bring him the fastball, and he does a good job of just staying on top of it, hitting the line drive just by Chris Getz in the right field. But the ball's hit so hard, Meyer comes up charging and gets a nice throw to the plate. And that's one of the things that the outfielders work on is catch and release and arm accuracy, and they throw a lot, and you see the results of it right here.
So here the Rays go again, trying to put something together in the first inning, as they have in the first 2 games of the series. Evan Longoria takes inside ball 1. On Friday night, the Rays opened the game with back-to-back doubles, so they had a run right away, and then after that, thanks to a couple of walks, had the bases loaded, nobody out, and could not add another run. Last night, they scored a run in the first inning, and later had the bases loaded and could not add a run in that inning. Evan Longoria has driven in 3 runs in the first 2 games. He hit a 2-run home run against Luke Kochaver on Friday. And Paulino's ahead, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
You can see right here, Paulino repeats the pitch in the same spot back to back.
And now he knocks Longoria on his back with a pitch up and in. 2 balls and 2 strikes with Desmond Jennings at third base and Ben Zobrist at first.
He was able to get those other 2 pitches on the outside corner, and that pitch up and in really opens the outside up. You just got to make a good pitch when it goes out there.
And Trainer just saved a run. 3-2.
And they just overthrew that breaking ball, and if he could have put it exactly where he wanted the 2 pitches prior to that knockdown pitch, he might have got him. But you see where Matt Trainer does a good job of blocking this ball and keeping it in front of him.
Zobrist runs. Longoria strikes out. Zobrist is safe, so no double play. Second and third with 2 down. So Evan Longoria was not picking up the slider from Felipe Paulino.
No, that's true. And this pitch is like right there on the outer half, and Trainer comes up with a quick throw to second, but Zobrist is able to beat the throw in there.
And now the batter is Matt Joyce, who also homered on Friday night. Last night came on as a pinch hitter late, and in the 10th inning singled, and that loaded the bases for the Rays with nobody out. That single coming against Joakim Soria, who had replaced Aaron Crow. And then, as you know, Soria got out of that, getting a fielder's choice and a force out at the plate, and then striking out Sam Fuld and Elliott Johnson. And Joyce pops it up. Well, the Rays try to put something together again in the first inning, but today against Paulino, they come up empty. but they leave runners at second and third in the first inning. And with no score, here's the Royals batting order against Alex Cobb.
And the top four remain the same as last night. The new bats in the lineup: Mitch Meyer in right field, and Micah Belis in the fifth and sixth spots. And Matt Trainer is in the game tonight, catching.
So it's 23-year-old Alex Cobb, who's making just his 7th Major League start. He is 2-0. First time the Royals are getting a look at him. The Rays' 4th-round pick in 2006 out of Vero Beach, Florida. Got his first Major League victory against the Angels back on June the 7th. And at times will have problems with his control. In half of his starts, he has walked 4. He's done a good job of limiting home runs. Gave up a home run in his Major League debut. He has not allowed a home run since then, and that covers 33 innings. 6'2", 195 pounds, Alex Cobb. He'll get Alex Gordon and Melky Cabrera and Billy Butler in the bottom of the first. And Alex comes out swinging. Alex's final swing last night tied the game with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th against former Royal Kyle Farnsworth. One and one.
And when you watch Alex Cobb pitch, he'll resemble Jeremy Hillickson a lot in how he pitches, but his changeup is more like James Shields' changeup.
There's a good one right there.
You would think having a guy like James Shields and has such a great changeup, everybody be flocking to him and says, hey, how do you throw that pitch?
That changeup is fouled away. Still 1 ball, 2 strikes. Alex Cobb, born in Boston, but grew up in Vero Beach. And for a long time, that was the spring training home of the Dodgers before they moved to Arizona. And for 3 springs, when Alex Cobb was growing up, he was a bat boy for the Dodgers during spring training. And you mentioned Jeremy Hellickson, and there are people in the Rays organization who really don't understand why Jeremy Hellickson gets all the hype as the best up-and-coming pitcher in the Rays system. Alex called out on strikes because there are many in the Rays system that think Alex Cobb is just as good as Jeremy Hellickson. So 1 away, and we'll take a look at the Rays defensively, presented by Ram Trucks.
Sam Fall is back in the game in left field. Desmond Jennings moves to center field, and Ben Zobrist comes in second game at second base.
A little bit outside to Melky Cabrera. Hitless last night. He had 3 hits and 3 RBIs against the Rays on Friday. Change-up in for a strike, according to home plate umpire Brian Runge. This is Melky's major league leading 419th at bat this year. So he has been healthy. He has been consistent. Of course, it helps that he bats second in the batting order. Oftentimes, the top 3 or 4 hitters will have 1 more at bat than anybody else. And Cobb, following a strikeout, it's a ground ball to Zobrist, 2 away. Right now, the Rays, just like the Royals, have a 6-man rotation. And all 6 are from the Rays system. All 6 are younger than 30 years old.
Well, they got good arms on that staff for sure. And Joe Madden said that the reason they go into 6-man is that they want to keep Alex Cobb here for sure, but it gives them a lot more strength going into September. The pitchers will be more rested. It limits Jeremy Hillickson's innings, and they'll be stronger going into September, hopefully with their independent race.
Right now, Joe Madden's team is 9.5 back after losing the first 2 games in this series. Billy, 2 hops to the shortstop Rodriguez, and Alex Cobb gets the Royals 1-2-3 in the first. Belton, Missouri, but when he was growing up through his high school years, he lived at beautiful Lake Winnebago, Missouri. So there you go. More evidence why you should participate in our Sprint You Call It question. One ball, one strike on Casey Kochman. Kochman, when the series began, had the second best batting average in the American League at .333, but just 1 for 7 in this series. He has walked 3 times, and now 4th in the league at .329, and that's the hardest hit ball he's had all weekend, and he drives it over Alex Gordon's head in left field. And the Rays have a runner in scoring position, which in the last 2 games has meant very little. We'll get to that in a moment. First, our Sprint You Call It question for today. It is also our Fox Hot Watch. So what do you think will happen this afternoon? Will we see a lead change in the 8th inning or later? How about Felipe Paulino pitching into the 7th again? Mike Moustakas with 3 RBIs last night. Will he get an RBI today? Or how about Mike Aviles getting an extra base hit? When you send in your text, you'll get a bounce back text message from Sprint, which will give you everything you need to know. To register for the suite here at Kauffman Stadium for 1 game, you and 11 guests. And again, Brad Sainer of Belton, Missouri, with his 11 guests enjoying the game today. The Rays left 2 runners in scoring position in the 1st inning. Last night, they stranded 11, and 9 of those were in scoring position. The Royals have really pitched well to the Rays, with runners at 2nd and or 3rd. Catcher Robinson Chirinos 1 for 4 on Friday. Didn't play last night. Ellie Shopik was behind the plate. 2 balls and 1 strike on Chirinos, originally out of the Cubs organization, and came over to the Rays during the offseason in the deal that sent Matt Garza to Chicago.
He's trying to advance Kochman over to third base, but Paulino's slider is pretty tough, and a lot of guys see the ball away, they think that's the one you want to use, but a lot of times that ball middle in is the one you want to stay in and make that happen to the right side.
Chirinos walks, putting runners at 1st and 2nd with nobody out. That's Paulino's first walk. So 2 on for Sam Fuld. Paulino on Sunday at Minnesota a week ago today pitched very well. He made 1 huge mistake. He gave up the 3-run home run to Jim Thome in the 6th inning and ended up taking the loss. The Royals lost 4-3, but one of his best days as far as stuff goes. He had 8 strikeouts in 7 innings. Sam Fuld not showing bunt, and takes high and away ball 1, and now Matt Trainer a little concerned. He'll go out to the mound. Here's some of the early numbers in our Sprint You Call It question for today, and right now 35% believe that Mike Moustakas will drive in a run. Conversely, only 10% believe we will see a lead change in the 8th inning or later. 2-0 on Sam Fuld. We had quite a game on Friday. He misplayed a couple of balls in left field and then had that controversial slide into Alcides Escobar in the 5th inning, spiking Escobar's right shin. The Royals thought it was a dirty slide, and coincidence or not, Sam Fuld ended up with a baseball on his ribs later in the game.
Those don't feel good. I tell you, anywhere around the back is not a good place to get hit. But I think that's Luke Hochevar, just standing up for Alcides Escobar, standing for your teammates right there.
was the last pitch thrown by Hochevar. Sam Fuld does have 3 sacrifice bunts this year, but Joe Madden, with his number 8 hitter at the plate, 2 on, nobody out, is going to try and play for a big inning. And Paulino fills out the count, 3-2. Sam Fuld, another player coming from the Cubs to the Rays in the deal that sent Matt Garza to Chicago.
Well, you have some managers that will bunt early in the game like this and try to get something on the board, and you have some like Joe Madden that early in the game they want to try to have play for the big inning. But when you're not scoring runs, you see bunts more early in the game. But when you're scoring runs, they swing away.
Hosmer down to second for a force. Tim McClellan with a late call, but says that Chirinos is out at second base, so the ball dropped in transition.
Now this is a heads-up play by Hosmer here. He could easily take the out at first base, but he went to second base to try to turn this double play. But the one thing you do on a double, when you're trying to turn double plays, your 2 hands have to stay close together. When Mike reached down and when he tried to make that long exchange, that's where he had the mishandle. Yeah, you watch Hosmer at first base. He does so much instinctive over there. I mean, there's just never really hesitation to what he wants to do. He always seems to have his mind made up when the ball is hit, which way he's going to go.
First and third for Sean Rodriguez. Without a hit in the series, 3 strikeouts on Friday, 0 for 6 overall. Started at shortstop on Friday. Elliott Johnson was there last night. Rodriguez there today. And Rodriguez, another one of those guys that's really moved around for Joe Madden. He played 7 positions last year for the Rays.
It's nice to have a versatile team like that for the simple reason if guys aren't swinging the bat well and you got guys you can plug in. Some days you go plug it in for offense. Some days you plug it in to get the best defense on the field. But I think Joe Madden right now is looking for offense.
Trainer with another nice save with a runner at third base. 1 ball, 1 strike on Rodriguez.
And you look at, oh my goodness, that's not easy to do right there. That's like a shot in the dark, you know, be able to backhand that ball in the dirt like that. But the trainer made it look so easy.
Paulino has 3 wild pitches this year. Quick feet, good move over to first base. That was not his best move, but just trying to keep Sam Fuld close, who has good speed. 17 stolen bases, and the Rays may try and steal here to take the double play out of order. Instead, I don't know if that was a suicide squeeze. Kochman was coming down from third. I don't know if he was coming as the pitch was coming in. Maybe possibly a safety squeeze.
Well, he had a choice there. If he breaks early, you know it's a squeeze, but he broke late, so it's more of a safety squeeze right there.
And got it with a fastball up. So first and third, 2 down. Second strikeout for Paulino.
It's really nice that the pitcher had that strikeout ability, and Paulino threw a rising fastball, and Rodriguez couldn't catch up with it.
Now Desmond Jennings, who's 3 for 4 in the last 2 games, singled and stole a base in the first inning and then was stranded at third, and the Royals thought that Fuld might be running. Ball 1 to Jennings. Jennings in center field today. He was in left field last night. You know, B.J. Upton, who has only 2 hits in his last 30 at bats, getting the day game off following the night game. And a good slider that had Jennings giving ground. 1-1.
Like I said, Sam Fuld with a steal here, Ryan, it would just be a straight steal at second base. I don't see a double steal here with Kochman's speed at third base. He would just be basically just trying to take the force out of the way at second base and get in scoring position.
way outside, and look at that save by Trainer. The Royals were screaming that they had a play at third base, but man, you can only ask Trainer to do so much. I thought I heard a smack. Did he block that ball with his bare hand?
I believe he did. I mean, he got out there as fast as he could, and that was a tough pitch to block, and it couldn't get much glove on it. Got a lot more hand and arm on it.
Oh, that was his glove or his hand. That's the third time already in the first 2 innings that he has made a save like that with a runner at third.
Wow, it was amazing. He was able, where that ball hit on his glove on the heel of it, it was amazing he was able to keep that ball in front of him.
Two balls, 2 strikes. And you hear so often, Frank, about pitchers and knowing that you have somebody like Trainer behind the plate that you can snap off that slider a little harder because you know that if it's in the dirt, he's going to block it.
Well, you got to have confidence in your catcher. If you don't, you're not going to bury that ball like you're supposed to. And at the end of the day, this is when you take Trainer a Coke and say, "Great game, thank you very much."
One hop to Moustakas. He'll go to second on a close play. And once again, the Rays strand 2 and 1 more in scoring position. The nation's fastest mobile broadband network. By Panera Bread Catering. Order online at PaneraKansas.com. And by Chevy. See your Kansas City area Chevy dealers. Christmas in July. And Santa's here today. He diets during the summer months and then puts on weight preparing for Christmas. I think it's right around August the 15th is when he starts eating again. Like he might play a round or 2 of miniature golf in the outfield experience.
Kind of like those Chuck Taylors.
Of course, he's up with the elves up in the North Pole, so he's playing miniature golf all the time. Here's the first pitch. Santa went to high school in Wyoming. It's a little known fact, and he was a sinker ball pitcher. What am I talking about? Are we on the air? 2-2 to Eric Hosmer, and we were on the air last night when Hosmer doubled and drove in Mike Aviles. It was a 2-pitch bottom of the 10th inning. Billy Butler singled on the first pitch. Aviles ran for him, and then Hosmer doubled on the first pitch, and in a flash the Royals won the game. And in the bottom of the 10th. Ready for the sweep today. Royals are gone for a week, and when they're back home, it'll be Tuesday, August 2nd, and the Royals will be hosting the Baltimore Orioles at 7:10. It's our next T-shirt Tuesday, and the first 10,000 fans receive this white Royals T-shirt presented by Sprint. Royals will be going to Boston for 4, Cleveland for 3. So a first place team in the East. And we'll see what happens today. Cleveland in second place in the Central. And the Royals are home to play the Orioles and the Tigers during the next homestand. Mitch Meyer getting the start in right field. Jeff Francoeur getting the day off. Meyer has appeared once in this series as a pinch hitter, 0 for 1. And down to the count, no balls, 2 strikes. The opposite way, and Sam Fuld runs it down inside the line. So a good jump and a good play, and there are 2 down. So Alex Cobb has retired the first 5, and now he'll face Mike Aviles, who came on to replace Alcides Escobar late in the game on Friday after Escobar was spiked by Sam Fuld. Aviles 0 for 2, and then was the pinch runner in the 10th inning last night and scored on the Eric Hosmer double. Driven inside, ball 1.
I don't think you sit around all game and you wait for an opportunity to get in the game, and we discussed this a little bit last night. Is those runners don't have any place to go and really get their legs ready for that type of a run. So Mike to be able to come off the bench and go first to home, that's pretty impressive.
2-0. Pulled foul into the seats off the left field line. 2 balls, 1 strike. Ned Yost would like to give Escobar the entire game off. He might be available later defensively or as a pinch hitter, a pinch runner, but if he does get the full day off, it will be his first this year. He has played in all the Royals' first 100 games. And now Aviles hits that one a little deeper, just as foul and above the windows of the 390 bar and grill. 2-2.
I think when a manager hopes he gives a guy in a premium position like shortstop a day off, you just hope your team goes out and scores enough runs that he can get that full day off. Because if it gets close, it's hard not to get him back in the game for defense late.
Got him with a fastball away. So 2 perfect innings for Alex Cobb with a couple of strikeouts. July is National Ice Cream Month. Celebrate with Bluebell's newest flavor, Dessert Trio. Inside the Royals Hall of Fame on this Hall of Fame Sunday. Earlier in the homestand, the Hall of Fame was a great place to go, not just to catch up on Royals history, but to get out of the heat. But a much milder day today because of the rain and a nice breeze blowing in from the northeast. Royals will be enjoying even milder temperatures when they go to Boston. Look at the forecast, and we're going to have low to mid 80s.
Perfect.
Johnny Damon on 4 pitches walks to begin the 3rd inning, and that's Paulino's 2nd. Johnny fouled out to 3rd in the 1st inning. Well, we've seen this before with Felipe Paulino, that when he has trouble, normally it's in the first 3 or 4 innings. And then we've seen along the same lines that if he can hang in there long enough, that then he is virtually unhittable from the 5th inning on. The Rays have already left 4 runners on base against Paulino in the first 2 innings and 3 in scoring position. A strike to Ben Zobrist.
I think you can also say too, and that he's been really what you call effectively wild so far. You know, he's been able to make a great pitch and knock a hit off the plate, make a bad pitch, come back and make a good pitch. So just being able to make that pitch when he has to get that out.
One ball, 1 strike. Zobrist single to right field in the 1st inning. He's grounded into only 4 double plays this year. We were talking about how Joe Maddon has a few guys every year that he moves around all over the field. Last year, if you include the playoffs, Joe Maddon used 132 different lineups. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah,
so that includes
very good slider right there.
always with stylish sunglasses, and if the sun's not out, his trademark eyeglasses.
Yeah, asking what theme that is.
And Zobrist again with a base hit to right field. Johnny Damon will go first to third. Zobrist goes into second base with a double. So getting runners into scoring position hasn't been a big problem for the Rays in this series. It's been getting them home. We remind you to look for the Miller Lite Taste Greatness moment later in today's game. And Zobrist with 2 hits. That's his 3rd double of the series. And now second and third with nobody out to Evan Longoria.
I'm still trying to figure out how he hit that pitch. I mean, it's almost like he hit it off right off the bottom of his bat and just right down the line. Good breaking ball down and in.
Oh, no.
0-1.
Hey, let's take a look at this. I mean, this ball is down, out over the plate, almost on the ground, and he's able to pull it back. Now, that's about as extended as you can get when you hit a pitch.
Matt Trainer was going down to his knees. He thought he was going to have to block that ball in the dirt. Longoria with a base hit to left field, so the Rays come through with a man in scoring position. And for Longoria, his 4th RBI of the series. So in all 3 games, the Rays have scored first.
Yeah, fastball down and in. He just did a good job just getting a bat hit to it, and Moustakas made a great effort. Just did get it off the end of it, but just by the end of his glove in the left field.
So a walk, a double, and now an RBI single, and that gets us to Matt Joyce. It's hit high in the air to right field and deep. Mitch Meyer is back and on the warning track to make the catch. Both runners tagging up, and Longoria is safe. The Rays have a 2-0 lead as Zobrist comes down from third.
And look at Mitch get hit. He had a long way to get behind this ball, and he came up throwing as well as he can from that distance. And Longoria just does beat it.
So that does a couple of things. It puts a runner in scoring position. It also takes away the possibility of a ground ball and a double play with Casey Kochman at the plate. Fouled away 0-1. Kochman doubled leading off the second inning. And then a walk from Robinson Chirinos, and the Rays had 2 on with nobody out, but couldn't turn that into a run. They got a couple of hits in the first inning. Failed to score there, but now in the third, a walk, a double, a single, and a sac fly, and Tampa Bay leads 2-0. Good slider down and in, 0-2. Back with the same pitch. Kochman went too far, and Paulino strikes out his third. You can follow every Royals game through Game Connect at foxsportskansascity.com. As you watch the game on TV, you can join the conversation about the game on Twitter. You can track trends and stats. So go to Game Connect at foxsportskansascity.com. Robinson Chirinos taking high and inside. He walked in the second inning against Paulino. That Trainer will run out of room, and the count is 1-1. Like Felipe Paulino, Robinson Chirinos grew up in Venezuela. Paulino born in the Dominican Republic but grew up in Venezuela. And like Felipe Paulino, Robinson Chirinos needed a position switch to get to the big leagues. He was an infielder with the Cubs until 2 years ago when they moved him behind the plate. That made him attractive to the Rays. They traded for him at the end of last year, and now here he is in the big leagues.
I say whatever it takes.
Felipe Paulino was a position player in the Astros system before he moved to the mound. Good fastball, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Not very high, so both Hosmer and Trainer needed to hurry, but coming up a little short, and Chirinos is still alive. Matt Trainer has not come to the plate yet, but he's already had a full day's work.
Oh, for sure. Chasing that foul ball right there and blocking balls in under stressful situations too. I mean, that's where catchers will work their goal. I mean, their waiting goal. I mean, they can block that ball, call for it in the dirt, and run on third base, and know that they can keep the ball in front of them.
3 times in the first 2 innings. Trainer walked a pitch in the dirt. Chirinos lays off a low slider, 2-2. Evan Longoria at second base. He has driven in a run in this inning. So is Matt Joyce. Got him with a fastball, 96 up and in. Paulino has struck out 4, but the Rays get 2 in the third. New bike was one of the best presents he received as a child, and trying to make sure other children experience the same excitement during the holidays, he has worked with local businesses to collect and refurbish bicycles to distribute to underprivileged children during the holidays. To date, Mike and his co-workers have collected, refurbished, and distributed more than 2,500 bikes to kids throughout Kansas City. So Buck would be thumbs up for Mike Pratt, sitting in the Buck O'Neil legacy seat today.
I agree with that one.
So 2-0 Rays, and the Royals trying to get on base against Alex Cobb, who's retired all 6. He has 2 strikeouts. So rookie against rookie. And in for a strike to Mike Moustakas. RBI single for Moustakas on Friday, and then 3 RBIs last night, including a game-tying double in the 4th inning. 2-run double. 1-1. Up the middle. Backhanded by Zobrist. A double clutch, but still time to get Moustakas one away. Cobb has retired the first 7, and now he'll face Matt Trainer. It's not often a player can go to the plate, and I don't know if Matt Trainer feels this way. We do, but before you go to the plate for the first time, you feel like you've already made some major contributions, and Matt Trainer has done that on defense 3 times in the first 2 innings. He made saves on pitches in the dirt with runners at third base. So without Trainer, the Royals are in worse shape than what they are now, down 2-0.
Now he's working really hard back there, and Paulino's pretty much all over the place in the strike zone, so he's able to reined him in tight enough that when the pressure's on, he's able to get that pitch that he needs to get him out of trouble.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
Let me take a good look at him here. I mean, this is an unbelievable play right here. And this is even more unbelievable because this ball is going away from him and he's able to keep it in front of him.
And as we bring that up, Robinson Chirinos with nobody on base, getting his body in front of a pitch in the dirt.
You know, the catchers call certain sliders and curveballs, and you know they kind of know if the ball goes away, it's gonna break back to their left for right-handed pitching.
And that ball's hit hard to left. Sam Fuld, who has not read the ball well in left field here at Kauffman Stadium, didn't get a great read, but still able to make the play. And there are 2 outs in the 3rd.
It's all about getting a good jump. Trainer hit the fastball, line drive toward the line, and Fuld made an adjustment, came up and made the play.
First reaction was to go back. So 8 up and 8 down against Alex Cobb, and ball 1 to Chris Getz. And there's the Royals' first base hit.
Now this is a hit. It's because of Chris Getz is who he is. Kochman has to come in and guard against the bunt, and they open that lane up for him to get that base hit to right field. You can see he's right there. He's good position, but just can't move the ball. He's just too far in. The angle just wasn't good enough for him to make a move on that ground ball.
So Getz with 18 stolen bases at first. And a little bit outside to Alex Gordon, who took a called 3rd strike in the 1st inning. 5 out of 11 in the series, which has him batting at .302. A couple of doubles, including the game-tying double in the 9th inning last night with 2 outs against Kyle Farnsworth. By getting up to .302, Alex is now 10th in the American League with that average. Go down to first, and for a moment it looked like Marvin Hudson was preparing to raise the right fist and call Getz out, but maybe getting a second look realized that Getz got the hand in on the bag.
It looked like Kochman's in pretty good position, but Chris made a nice move with his hand to take it away, and then he takes the right hand away, and then he brings it back in there.
Whoa, pretty nifty move. Now, 8 or 9 times out of 10, that doesn't work, but every now and then it does. We hear about a swing and a miss. How about a tag and a miss?
He takes the right hand and holds it back and slides the left hand out. Kochman goes for the left hand, and he brings the right hand underneath the tag.
So you can see why Marvin Hudson was getting ready to ring up Chris Getz, but a good call. He never saw a tag and then pointed to the bag, and a lot of times the point means I saw the hand get to the base. Fouled away, 2-2.
Now we'll take a look at Fox Tracks Alex Gordon, because obviously they want to work him away. And not only two of those pitches you could consider in the strike zone.
So those the pitches in his last at bat. This at bat, trying to stay down or down and away, and pitch in on the hands. And Zobrist throws out Gordon. And at the end of 3, Tampa Bay leads 2-0. Wideband internet pitch speeds brought to you by Time Warner Cable. Up to 50 megabits per second of pure online power. And we know we're going to get the power from Felipe Paulino, and he's gotten up to 98 so far today. Alex Cobb, who's allowed 1 hit in 3 innings, has topped out at 93. So the Rays with a 2-0 lead, but they have left 5 runners on base and 4 in scoring position. So if you total up the last 2 games, that's 16 runners left on base and 13 in scoring position. Sam Fuld, who was not asked to bunt, with runners at first and second and nobody out in the second inning, this time around trying to bunt for a base hit. Fuld eventually grounded into a fielder's choice. He'll be followed by Sean Rodriguez, the number 9 hitter, and then Desmond Jennings. Popped up, shallow left field. Alex trying to angle his body away from the sun, and he retires Fuld. Remember, every Wednesday is Ink Student Night and Local Music Showcase. You'll get a $7 game ticket, pre-game happy hour specials, and enjoy one of KC's best bands. And coming up on August 3rd, it's music from Soft Reeds. That's the Royals and the Orioles at 7:10. All fans will receive a download card for 5 free songs, that is, from the entire Universal Music catalog. One ball, 1 strike on Sean Rodriguez. Struck out in the second inning. 0 for 7 in the series with 4 strikeouts. Sean Rodriguez has had an awful series when it comes to check swings.
Well, that's the 3rd one.
That is at least the 3rd time, Frank, where he's felt like he did not go around. There was Ted Barrett on Friday night, and now Brian Runge today. And now down looking. Sean Rodriguez, I think at this point, is wondering, what did I ever do to this crew?
Well, he can never check swing with this crew again, that's for sure. Anything questionable to Sean Rodriguez has been a strike. Going to take a look at the check swing here. I mean, that's pretty good ways out there. And this is a call, strike 3.
Five strikeouts for Paulino, and now pitching to Desmond Jennings. 1 ball, 1 strike. Jennings singled and stole a base in the first. Grounded into a force out that ended the second. Good pitch right at the knees. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, we've seen it happen so often since Paulino has joined the Royals. If he has trouble, it's in the first 3 or 4 innings, and then watch out after that. And he's working on his first 3 up, 3 down inning. Faced 5 in the first, 5 in the second, 6 in the third, and gave up the 2 runs in the 3rd inning. Check swing, and it's still 1-2. And a fair ball past Moustakas. And Desmond Jennings, who was a junior college All-American wide receiver, is into second base easily with his 3rd extra base hit in the last 2 games.
The trainer wants this breaking ball away, and Paulino gets it away, and Jennings is strong enough that he was able to go out and really bring this ball back. He got the top hand over, the bottom hand over, and just hit this ball right inside the line at 3rd base. That's a lot of strength right there to be able to do that.
Both of his hits have come with him behind in the count. An 0-2 single in the first, and now the 1-2 double, and that brings up Johnny Damon. Slow curveball in for a strike. Johnny fouled out in the first, walked leading off the third inning, and he, along with Ben Zobrist, scored the 2 runs. One and one. One ball, 2 strikes.
Yeah, Johnny's getting a great assortment of breaking balls in this series so far, and they give him a lot of trouble. It's not that it's the breaking ball itself, it's just how good it is. And you watch how this ball goes down right underneath the swing.
May have broken his bat. And in typical gentlemanly fashion, which is Johnny Damon, not only did he go get a new bat, but the little sliver that came off the bat, Johnny felt like he needed to go and pick that up.
Got to give his bat back, save the bat boy a little work.
Coming up early next month, the Royals will be in St. Petersburg, and yesterday we taped a one-on-one with Johnny Damon. And talked about going into the Hall of Fame as a Royal, his Royals career, his Red Sox career, his Yankees career. Always good to talk to Johnny, and Johnny's always been very candid. You can talk about any subject with him, and we did that yesterday. So when the Royals are in Tampa Bay, a couple of road trips down the road, we will see one-on-one with Johnny Damon. Alex Gordon makes the play in left field, and another runner left on base in scoring position for the Rays. Carsoup.com/Royals. Carsoup will ask you for your zip code, and when you fill that in, you'll be sent to a different page where you can submit your question, and Joel Goldberg will join us later today with some of your questions. Biggest question right now is what to do with Alex Cobb, who has given up 1 hit in 3 innings. You got Melky Cabrera on a ground ball first time up. This ground ball finds its way into center field, and Melky is 1 for 2. And in typical Melky fashion, goes burning around first base with an aggressive turn.
Yeah, that's one of those Doug Sisson things. He wants those base runners to do that, Ryan. They want to go around aggressively, and if nothing else, you force the outfielder into a mistake, and you can continue to the next base. But you want that outfielder to secure the ball before you put on the brakes.
Maybe I'm reading too much into this, but it looked like Alex Cobb was going to go for that ground ball, and very few pitchers have the presence of mind to then pull the glove back, realizing that maybe the infielder had a shot. Let's get another look. He kind of pulled the glove back to the chest, and as it turned out, nobody had a play, but started to reach, and then when the glove was at full reach, tried to bring it back.
Yeah, you can see that real clear. You know, a lot of times the pitchers look around and see what those middle infielders are playing before they make the pitch, and that'll help them in making that decision. It's such a short period of time to decide what you want to do, and have the presence of mind to do that. That's really impressive. You see so many pitchers prolong an inning by just getting a glove in there and a bare hand in there, and they knock the ball off, and when it could have been a double play to get them out of the inning, then they hurt themselves in the long run.
Melky has stolen 14 this year. He's only been thrown out twice as the Royals continue to lead the league. They have 101 stolen bases. Billy rolled out to short in the first inning. Billy has hit in 6 in a row. He homered on Friday night, putting an end to an over month-long drought without a home run, and then he set up the winning run last night with a single in the 10th inning against Brandon Gomes. Mike Aviles ran for him, and then Aviles scored on the Hosmer double. Two balls, 2 strikes. A couple of kids who grew up in Florida looking up here. Billy Butler, Northern Florida. Alex Cobb in Vero Beach. Ground ball to third. They get the out at second. A quick turn by Zobrist, and Billy Butler grounds into a double play. Now Eric Hosmer digs in, and while he does so, we'll take a look at today's league leaders, brought to you by your Kansas City area Toyota dealers. Most game-winning RBIs by rookies. Eric Hosmer leading the American League, and Freddie Freeman in the National League. 9 out of 40 RBIs are game-winning RBIs, and Cobb, thanks to the double play, faces only 3 in the 4th. Men on base, the Rays scoring 2 runs in the 3rd, And this is about the time of game, Frank, when Paulino kicks it into anher gear.
Well, you're right, Ryan. You know, 6 runs left on in the first 4 innings. He was effectively pitching around his trouble, but he's got a new breather this inning. This is his inning, like you said. So we'll just sit back and we'll see how he handles it.
He pitched a scoreless 4th inning. He was hoping for his first 1-2-3 inning for pitch count more than anything else. Gave up a double to Desmond Jennings, but retired the next hitter, Johnny Damon, and now it's Ben Zobrist, Evan Longoria, and Matt Joyce. Royals trying to win 5 in a row for the first time since the end of the 2009 season. They are trying to sweep the Rays, and it would be the Royals' first sweep since April 29th through May 1st, when the Royals here at Kauffman Stadium swept the Minnesota Twins. Zobrist has 2 hits, including his 3rd double of the series. He has scored 1 of the 2 runs, and he's out on the ground ball to short to begin the 5th inning. And now Paulino gets Evan Longoria, who drove in 1 of the 2 runs in the 3rd. He has 4 RBIs in the series. With that pitch, Paulino struck out Longoria in the 1st inning. A slider down and away, taken for a strike. Paulino has struck out 5. He has walked 2. 1 ball, 1 strike. Let's go to Joe Goldberg.
Ryan, thanks. I'm joined right now by Captain R.J. Cobb, who is stationed at Fort Leonard Wood. And if you recognize that last name, Cobb, it is his brother Alex that is pitching here today. So a short trip over for you. How unbelievable is it to be able to be here to watch your brother pitch?
Still trying to get used to seeing him up there on the mound, and actually doing pretty darn well. It's really good to see.
All right, so you were telling me that you had the chance to see his debut for the Tampa Bay Rays. Tell me about that phone call and then how you ended up getting there.
I was actually finishing up training one day, and he calls me. He says, "Hey, is there any chance you can get down to Florida?" Well, I had to be at somewhere the next Monday, and he said, "I'm playing in the majors. I'll be on the next plane." So.
It's unbelievable. And of course, we hear from servicemen and women all the time that love watching baseball, love that diversion, as the Royals will make that play, and just like that, winner. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, my honor.
All right, that is Captain R.J. Cobb. We're back after this.
Alex Cobb watching his brother today, getting ready for the bottom of the 5th inning. We hope you'll join us at Kauffman Stadium on August 6th as we celebrate Armed Forces Day. There will be a special pregame ceremony, a flyover honoring our servicemen and women before the Royals take on division rival the Detroit Tigers at 6:10. And don't forget, that's also our special broadcast, This One's for You, as we're going to link up with the 548 Transportation Company. They'll be watching the game live from Afghanistan. Richard Cobb, or R.J. Cobb, who was just visiting with Joel, the older brother of Alex Cobb, and he asked if he was going to go on today, that it wouldn't be while his younger brother is pitching an inning. So we respect his wishes, but unfortunately it was a very fast inning. Felipe Paulino, fortunately for the Royals, needed only 7 pitches, but Joel didn't get a whole lot of time with R.J. Cobb. He is a Purple Heart winner. He was injured by an IED explosion in Iraq. And so while Alex is the pride and joy of Vero Beach, Florida, Richard is certainly a hero back in Vero Beach, and right now stationed at Fort Leonard Wood, which is about 250 miles southeast of Kansas City. So we are proud to have him here today, joining us at Kauffman Stadium and getting a chance to see his younger brother pitch. And as he said, he's still trying to get used to the fact that his little brother is pitching in the big leagues. And as you might imagine, his little brother admires him the same, if not more, than big brother admires little brother. There is the symbolic battle on the baseball field, and then there is the real battle on the battlefield.
That is for sure. But all big brothers love to see their younger brothers do well, and little brothers love to look up to their older brothers.
Mike Aviles, shallow left center. Jennings started back, but with his speed, that's an easy adjustment. So Aviles is 0 for 2, and 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th inning. Speaking of speed, Frank White, and our AT&T trivia question for today: who are the only 2 Royals to have 200 or more hits in a season batting first? Only 2 Royals with 200 or more hits batting leadoff. Alex Gordon, who is batting leadoff now, on pace for 190. Many of those hits coming in spots other than the leadoff spot. I think I will be responsible for the hints today.
Oh, yeah.
Frank played with one, and Frank coached one. Moustakas pops it up, and Alex Cobb just keeps rolling along with 5 scoreless innings and a 2-0 lead. Tobacco Quit line. Call 1-800-QUIT-NOW. Just into the lower 90s. That's how hot it's been in Kansas City, where we can say that. Only in the low 90s for a high, thanks to some rain earlier today and a nice breeze blowing in from the east-northeast. Tampa Bay Rays trying to get out of town and avoid being swept by the Royals. The Royals are going for their 5th win in a row. Tampa Bay scoring the only 2 runs in the 3rd inning. Evan Longoria and Matt Joyce driving in the runs. It'll be Casey Kochman, Robinson Chirinos, and Sam Fuld in the 6th inning against Felipe Paulino. 2 balls and 1 strike. Two walks, 6 strikeouts for Paulino. He has retired 9 of the last 10. Three and 2. And the Rays, I'm sure, think that they should be out in front more than 2-0. They have left 6 runners on base in the first 5 innings, and 5 of those in scoring position. And now the ground ball to Hosmer, the ground ball kind of flattened out, so Hosmer had to adjust, but he does so smoothly and 1 away. Today's copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Kansas City Royals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation. Ryan Lefebvre with Frank White, Joel Goldberg, our producer Kevin Schenk, director Steve Kurtenbach, associate producers Al Broughton, Sam Abramson. The producer of Royals Live is TJ McGinnis. Ground ball squirted out to Aviles. Robinson Chirinos is the 2nd out. Also coming up during the next homestand, we'll have another Fireworks Friday and Buck Night. That's Friday, August 5th. The Royals will be hosting the Tigers at 7:10. And as always, that means you can purchase hot dogs, small Pepsi products, and peanuts for just $1 each. Now that's during the game. After the game, we hope you'll stick around for another great fireworks show presented by Hy-Vee and Pepsi. That's coming up on Friday, August 5th. Ground ball through the right side, and Sam Fuld is 1 out of 3. And that brings up poor Sean Rodriguez. 0 for 2, 2 strikeouts. 0 for 8, 5 strikeouts in the series. Sam Fuld is running, and Trainer's throw just to the 3rd base side of the bag. So tough tag attempt for Getz. He has a laugh with Sam Fuld. Royals weren't laughing when Fuld went sliding into second base on Friday.
Well, that is for sure. And he goes first pitch, and he's off and running before Paulino releases. Trainer had a tough breaking ball down and away. So Fuld able to get in there, throws on the shortstop side of second base.
One ball, 1 strike. Paulino now over 100 pitches. 2 balls and 1 strike on Rodriguez. Royals are just now starting to go to work in the bullpen. 3-1. Now, the pitcher, and only 27 years old, going over 100 pitches, and you figure, well, he's at the end of the line, and Paulino might be. We don't know what the Royals' plans are, but Paulino in his last 4 games has thrown 113, 120, 118, and 117 pitches. Rodriguez hit by a pitch, and now the Rays will begin their 4th time through the order. As part of our Fox Sports Supports charitable initiative, we are proud to wear these pins during our 2011 MLB on Fox Sports Kansas City season to support Stand Up to Cancer and their work to fund groundbreaking research that helps accelerate treatment to patients. For more information, please visit standuptocancer.org/Fox Sports. It's a tough series for Sean Rodriguez when the best thing that's happened to you in the 3 games is getting hit by a pitch.
You think he minds?
2 on, 2 out, and now Desmond Jennings. And he's hit by a pitch. And here comes Ned Yost. Rays, many of them on the top step for a moment and glaring out at Felipe Paulino. I don't think in a 2-0 game in the 6th inning he was trying to hit 2 guys to load the bases after 2 outs and nobody on. We'll see if there are any repercussions as a result of that. We know that Paulino is out and Blake Wood is in, and a Chevy call to the bullpen. Learned right away after Paulino joined the Royals that he is not afraid to pitch inside, and he has not been with the Royals all season, but he leads Royals pitchers in hitting batters, and he got Sean Rodriguez and Desmond Jennings to put an end to his outing. So that means Blake Wood comes on with 2 outs and the base is loaded. Normally you think bases loaded and you equate that to a big opportunity on offense, but bases loaded has been the Rays' biggest enemy in this series. Going back to the very first inning on Friday night when they had the bases loaded and nobody out, couldn't add a run. And then remember in the 10th inning last night they had the bases loaded, nobody out, and couldn't score. Johnny Damon out in front, put a charge into it, but that hook's well foul off to the right field side.
I can give a lot of credit to the Royals pitching for shutting that offense down in those key situations. And on the offensive side, then you look at the Rays hitters, and they were really being very selective in the pitches they were swinging at. When you leave that many men on base, you got to get the hat off to the pitcher in that situation.
Another save by Trainer. How many times have we said that today?
4.
Number 4.
That's number 4.
With a runner at third base. To answer our AT&T trivia question, who are the only 2 Royals to have 200 or more hits in a season batting first? There's one hint. It's either Blake Wood, Johnny Damon, Matt Trainer, or Brian Runge. I'm going to go with Damon. And then Willie Wilson in 1980. And Willie Wilson that year, one of just a handful of players in Major League history, I think 3. I don't know that for certain, to have 100 hits from both sides of the plate in the same year.
That was fun to watch. I mean, anytime you see Willie on the bases, it was fun anyway. But to get that many hits, 229 hits, that's just unbelievable. I just can't even fathom that many hits in this season.
And then there's a little bit of good fortune mixed into that to face so many right-handers and lefties. I mean, you have to face a certain amount of lefties and righties to be able to get 100 hits from both sides.
Well, that's true, and he had a longer swing on the right side, which was the natural side, but he was just learning how to hit left-handed. So he made some really good adjustments as he went forward. Blake Wood really wanted that pitch. He was walking toward the dugout after he let that one go.
The year Johnny Damon had the 200 hits for the Royals, he led the American League with 136 runs scored, which is a Royals record. And he also led the league with 46 stolen bases. And he walks with the bases loaded. 2 hit batters and a walk. And the Rays had a run in the 6th inning. That's Damon's 2nd walk today. Now Ben Zobrist, who has 2 hits today, 5 in the series, and 3 of the 5 have been doubles. And one finally gets by Trainer, but it hit Zobrist first. So no wild pitch. It's a hit batter and an RBI for Zobrist. And the Royals have hit 3 batters in this inning. Two runs on 1 hit. So here's Evan Longoria, and he may have double checked to make sure his will was in order before he stepped in. And Blake Wood misses down and away, ball 1.
Well, I would think about it too. You watch how Paulino left the game, and Blake Wood comes in and he hits the next guy. You know, obviously not on purpose, but yeah, hit batter's a hit batter. It doesn't look good in the end.
And that was a swing from a guy that maybe had that in the back of his mind. I mean, that did not look like a swing that he was going to drive to the opposite field.
Well, I think it's definitely a conscious on the inner part of the plate right now, and he just really pulled off of that fastball away.
One ball, 2 strikes. All of this started with 2 outs and nobody on base. And Felipe Paulino gave up a ground ball base hit to right field to Sam Full, the number 8 hitter. Number 9 hitter, Sean Rodriguez, hit by a pitch. Desmond Jennings hit by a pitch. Blake Wood comes on, a bases loaded walk and a bases loaded hit batter. And now Longoria strikes out for the 3rd time. Rays leave the bases loaded again, but they score 2.
Kansas City, Kansas. If the Royals hit a home run this inning, Daniel will win $5,500. But if the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Daniel will win $25,000 from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals.
So Alex Cobb going for his 3rd major league win. He has given up 2 singles in 5 innings, no walks. He has struck out 2. And because of a double play in the 4th inning, he's only faced 1 over the minimum. Fastball for a strike to Matt Trainer, who lined out to left field in the 3rd inning. Royals still have 12 outs to go on offense, so plenty of time to score 4 runs. And you got to figure, even though they're down 4-0, that they feel somewhat fortunate. Alex Cobb, no more than 15 pitches in an inning today. There's the 3rd hit given up by the Royals. And the reason why the Royals must still feel fortunate is because the Rays have left 9 runners on base and 7 in scoring position. So in their minds, they should have a much bigger lead than 4-0.
I agree with that. And Matt Trainer right here gets a fastball out over the plate and drives a line drive over Rodriguez at shortstop in the left center field for a base hit. Well, teams that let you keep hanging around, you know, and before you know it, you get that big run that you're looking for in the game, and you're right back there.
Chris Getz has one of the 3 hits, a 2-out single in the 3rd inning. And there's a base hit into right field. The Trainer stops at second, and for the first time today, the Royals have more than 1 runner in an inning.
Well, Chris Getz is using his hands on his breaking ball. He just pulls it in the hole between first and second. Rolled over on it. Nice short stroke direct down from the shoulder. Pulls it in the hole for a base hit. Ooh, Matt Trainer, look out.
And Alex Swinging and missing. Going after the first pitch. A strikeout and a ground out today against Cobb. 5 hits for Alex in the first 2 games. Drive to left field. Back goes Fold, and he makes the play on the track.
Sam Fold made the right turn at the right time. It appeared that ball was going to be over his head. But he read it, made the right turn. The ball was sitting there waiting on him. Alex does a good job just driving this ball. You see him going over his left shoulder, turns back over. His right shoulder, the ball's there. Nice job of making an adjustment.
So 2 on 1 out, and now Melky Cabrera, who is 1 for 2 with a single to center field. And that's hit hard to left center, but slicing back into Fold. So Royals starting to get good swings. And now Alex Cobb is the fortunate one that 2 of those line drives to left field have landed in Sam Fold's glove.
This inning is we're playing this inning for Daniel Green, and he's got $5,500 on the line. That's our Sonic Slam contestant.
So 2 base hits, 2 lineouts to left field, and now Billy Butler 0 for 2, and one of his ground balls was turned into a double play. On Friday, Billy put an end to an over 1 month drought without a home run.
Oh, that was against Wade Davis, and this is in the left center field. And you're right, when you go that long and you bat in the middle of the order without a home run, it kind of wears on you a little bit. But it also tells you that you're due.
Good pitch, good movement. That ball just disappeared down and into Billy.
He's got such a great changeup.
That trainer was not expecting that, but there was nobody at second base to receive a throw. Ben Zobrist coming in a little late. I would think Matt Trainer would not try and steal third base with 2 outs and Billy Butler at the plate in a 4-0 game. Hit hard but foul off to the left field side.
If that happened, Ryan, you know what we ought to do up here? We just throw your hands up. That's all you can do. Say, what's next?
That would certainly not be by the so-called book. Grounded up the middle, and that's where Zobrist was playing, and the Royals with a promising start with a couple of hits, but still scoreless against Cobb. especially on offense, but they don't need a lot of offense today with the way Alex Cobb has pitched, and we'll call him our Miller Lite Taste Greatness moment.
He's pitched very well in this game to this point through 6 innings. He's only allowed 4 hits to the Royals, no runs on the board as of yet, and the Royals have only been able to leave 3 men on base. So he's given the Royals a great assortment of changeups, curveball, and fastball.
So that gives Joe Madden something to smile about. The Rays have lost 8 of their last 11 games and have fallen to 9.5 back in the American League East. This is the beginning of a 10-game road trip for Tampa Bay against teams below 500. All 3 teams they will face. The Royals, from here they go to Oakland, and after that they go to Seattle. And Seattle hoping that today they can stop a 14-game losing streak. Matt Joyce 0 for 2. He does have an RBI. 2 balls and no strikes against Blake Wood.
What does the manager say to his team when you're playing 500 baseball, all of a sudden you're on a 14-game losing streak? I mean, how do you bring that team back?
Well, when we saw the Mariners here in April, they looked awful.
Yes,
I mean, it looked like it was going to be a long year for them. But then they got on that run. They got themselves above 500. They were in the thick of things in the American League West. So they've dealt with the hills and valleys and then some already. Joyce rounds out to Eric Hosmer, 1 away in the 7th inning.
Well, you look around too and you see their team batting average at 224, and that's not a lot going on right there.
That is unbelievable. Here's an update on our Sprint You Call It question. What do you think will happen today? 32% still think that Mike Moustakas will drive in a run. Right now the Royals will take an RBI from anybody, which is 4 hits against Alex Cobb in 6 innings. 224 batting average as a team for the Seattle Mariners. Aviles throws out Casey Kochman. He's 1 for 4. 2 away in the 7th inning. Remember, Pepsi Max is the official soft drink of the Fox Sports Kansas City broadcast booth, and is also a proud supporter of the Royals 5K, benefiting Variety Children's Charity. You can run or walk, and it all benefits Kansas City kids. Pepsi Max, 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste. Ball 1 to Robinson Chirinos. A walk in the 2nd inning, otherwise 0 for 2. With 2 outs and nobody on in the 6th inning, Felipe Paulino gave up a single. Then he hit 2 batters. And loaded the bases. Blake Wood took over. He walked Johnny Damon to force in a run, and then he hit Ben Zobrist to force in another run. Those 2 were charged to Paulino, so runs after he left the game. Rays coming up with 2 runs on 1 hit in the 6th inning. They have left 9 runners on base, 7 in scoring position. Last night they left 11 on base and 9 in scoring position.
It's a hitting coach's nightmare.
Still 2-2. In the air to left center field. And Alex Gordon is there. The Rays are scoreless in the top of the 7th inning. In the third inning, 2 in the sixth, and a 4-0 lead. Before we get to the bottom of the seventh inning, today is a carsoup.com email the booth day, and Joel Goldberg has some of your questions.
All right, Ryan, thank you very much. Babette Beach in Hutchinson, Kansas says, who buys the players' bats? Do players meet with factory reps to go over their specifications? It's a good question. There's a lot involved there, guys.
Well, usually the bat companies come around in spring training, Joel, and each player goes out and picks his bat out, and they manufacture. But the club actually buys the bats. But the players are able to, throughout the course of the year, if they want to make alterations to it, they can do those things also.
And as we saw earlier in the year, some players go through bats quicker than others. Alex probably leading the way with that, with all the broken bats. Vern Cull in Liberty wants to know what happens if a batter is injured, not hit by a pitch, not out, and can't continue playing.
A batter or a batter runner?
A batter. Well, it's just a batter. I guess it could be
batter
either.
Can be replaced.
Right.
I'm guessing the question has more to do with, because you can always replace a batter with a pinch hitter or a runner with a pinch runner, but the question comes up, what happens if a batter runner is injured with the ball in play? If he's injured with the ball in play, he's
out to tag him.
Yeah, he's open game. However, if a batter is injured in the middle of a home run, you can substitute a pinch runner to complete the home run for him. So it's not like you got to force him to hobble around the bases. Eric Hosmer leads off the seventh inning with a base hit against Alex Cobb. Hosmer is 1 for 3.
We've seen a lot more of this at Hosmer in the last couple of games, Ryan, just driving them all to left center field and staying back up through the middle. And he's just swinging the bat probably as well now as at any time, because he's using more of the field than just right field. He's expanded himself into left center field.
Charles.
Here you go. Hey, Joel, sorry to interrupt you, but it's Rule 5.10, letter C, number 1.
Wow.
If an accident to a runner is such as to prevent him from proceeding to a base of which he is entitled, as on a home run hit out of the playing field, or an award of 1 or more bases, so a ground rule double, or if a fielder throws his glove at the ball, that's 3 bases, a substitute runner shall be permitted to complete the play.
Which book of knowledge was that?
That would be the official baseball rules book of knowledge. 2 on, nobody out. Mitch Meyer is 1 for 3.
Yeah, Mitch earlier at bat, Ryan, he hit a ball down the line that Sam Fole made a nice play on the line, but he got this one down ahead of him.
Charles Berg in Manning, Iowa asks, do umpires stay together all season long as a team, or do they split up after each series? They do stay together, guys, throughout the season. Sometimes that changes season by season. Where we see the changes is when some of these guys go on vacation, or, and we don't think about this much because it's not publicized, there's not a DL, but a lot of these umpires get hurt and they've got to miss time as well.
A strike to Mike Aviles. This is a good time to be a minor league fill-in umpire, because some of these guys never see the minor leagues. They just go from big league crew to big league crew. As you said, Joel, the guys do get some time off during the season. You know, the players have homestands, even though they might not live in Kansas City, but at least they can settle in somewhere for 6 months. These guys, unless they live in one city in the major leagues, they are always on the road.
Always.
And I found it interesting talking to some of them. They'll schedule their vacation in this spot for a big family vacation, or maybe one umpire is a fan of a certain college football team, and he always wants Saturdays off in September. I've heard a lot of stories like that. And then, as I mentioned, with the injuries, you see the way these home plate umpires can take a beating at home, and some of them have had concussions and knee injuries, and so that stuff's not talked about, just because I don't think that anybody really cares about an injury report on those guys.
Up the middle, the Rays with a chance to turn 2, and they do. So a runner at third with 2 outs. Second double play turned by the Rays behind Alex Cobb today.
Bless you.
No, Mike didn't really get through this ball very well at all, and the way he swung it held him back in the box a little longer, and he wasn't able to make this throw to first base. Just pretty easy. Ben Zobrist does a great job, and then turning 2 at second base. He got rid of the ball very fast, but that ball just held Mike back in the box, and he just couldn't get out there at all.
Joel, another thing about the umpires, not only do they not have homestands, but they don't have an inning off. They don't get to go sit in the dugout every half inning like the other fielders do. And it's not a brutally hot day today, but it had the potential of being that, and a pretty bold move by the umpires going with the black jerseys today. I mean, if today was like yesterday or Friday, there might be 4 melted umpires on the field before the game's over.
Well, that's when the trainers try to look out for him. They keep an eye on him, and they individually, whoever the ball boy is, the bad boy, he'll look at him and they'll ask for a cup, or they'll send drinks out between innings. So they try to keep him as hydrated as possible.
With the danger of there being 2 outs, this one for Frank from Rodney Chin in Ithaca, New York. As a fellow DP pivot, double play pivot, how would you have dealt with a teammate that, quote unquote, pulled a fold?
So in other words,
the high spikes.
Sam Fold was your teammate, and you know what it's like to be Alcides Escobar. How would you have dealt with your teammate?
Well, you just go out and tell him, you know, what you do to their team, I've got a chance to have done to me. And I think that you got to talk to him about how to break up a double play, and you got to understand that a base runner, there's a time to be safe and there's a time to break up a double play. So the ball's in the hole, deep shortstop. Now you're trying to be safe. If it's a routine ground ball and they turn a double play, now you're looking to break up the double play, but you can't do it with your lead foot up off the ground that high.
Zobrist to the middle. So once again, in back-to-back innings, 2 singles to begin the inning, but the Royals fail to score, and that's a career-high 7 innings for Alex Cobb. The warning track in front of the first base dugout suite. Ketchup is doing just fine. Panera will take us around the American League, where the Yankees beat the A's. That's the team in front of Tampa Bay in the East. Chicago beating Cleveland, so Cleveland's lost 4 in a row. Boston is in front of Seattle. So the Mariners not far away now from a 15-game losing streak. Angels over the Orioles. Mike Trout, one of the best prospects in all of baseball, with his first major league home run for the Angels. Detroit, Minnesota just getting underway. The Tigers right now with a 1.5 game lead in the Central. And Toronto and Texas later tonight.
Catcher can't see.
Yeah, you can understand why he went down. Yikes. Chevy called to the bullpen. It's Tim Collins in the top of the 8th inning. Sam Fuld, Sean Rodriguez, Desmond Jennings coming to the plate. Tim Collins pitched on Friday night and pitched a scoreless 7th inning. It looked like Sam Fuld had collected a rather harmless 2-out single in the 6th inning. It was a 2-0 game. He hit a ground ball, not hit hard, but well placed between Hosmer and Getz. And that was the beginning of 2 runs for Tampa Bay in the inning. Felipe Paulino then hit Sean Rodriguez with a pitch, and then he hit Desmond Jennings with a pitch. Blake Wood came on, walked a batter with the bases loaded, and then he hit a batter with the bases loaded. 3 hit batters in the inning, and that turned a Rays 2-0 lead into 4-0. Three and 2. To right field and playable for Mitch Meyer. There's 1 out in the 8th inning. Coming up in 2 weeks, it's Family Fun Day Sunday here at Kauffman Stadium, as it is every Sunday. That's August 7th. The Royals will take on the Tigers at 1:10. And on this particular Sunday, the first 8,000 fans, 14 and under, receive a Royals batting helmet presented by Chevrolet. That was always one of my favorite promotions when I was a kid, to go to batting helmet day.
Well, I tell you, you used to worry about them batting helmet days when they gave them out on a hot Sunday afternoon. That was never any fun.
I didn't have to worry about that in Southern California, Frank. Unless it got all the way up to 84 or something like that.
I'll tell you. Plastic on your head on a hot day.
That trainer goes to the screen, but it lands on the other side. A fella in the second row, and he was trying to protect his daughter, but he tried to get out of the way of that ball about 7 different times, and the ball just kept following him. He went to his left, he went to his right, he went back to his left.
You know, when the ball is way up in the sky, you want to catch it. And it seems like the closer it gets to your hands, the more you want to get your hands out of the way. But he had to circle his daughter there, his daughter, but just make sure the ball didn't hit her.
Now, apparently she didn't feel very safe, because she hit the road right after that ball hit the concrete.
That could be a traumatic experience for a young kid. But when that ball hits that concrete, it sounds really loud.
Sean Rodriguez walks with 1 out, and now the Rays will send up the top of the order. Cesar Ramos warming up in the Rays bullpen, a left-hander. Alex Cobb has only thrown 85 pitches in 7 innings, but it's a season high 7 innings for him, at least at the big league level. He has thrown as many as 102 pitches, but he had not gone 7 innings. Desmond Jennings on base 3 more times today. A single, a double, and he's been hit by a pitch. Felipe Paulino gave up 4 runs in 5 2/3. No runs charged to Blake Wood in an inning and a third. Rodriguez runs, and there's the safe call. Always nice when it comes in the same inning. Stolen base for Rodriguez, his 7th.
Rodriguez gets a good jump. He goes first move against Tim Collins. And Matt Trainor's throw is a little bit late. And Rodriguez gets in with a stolen base.
And the Rays with their third stolen base today. And Jennings, he may have been hit by a pitch, and Matt Trainer may have been hit by the same pitch. It appears that's exactly what happened. First Jennings, then Trainer. And I think the groan came from Trainer. That's the second time Jennings has been hit by a pitch. And the fourth time a Rays hitter has been hit today, and that came up and got him on the neck.
Got underneath this mask. Sounded like it hit the ground and went off the right foot of Jennings and into Matt Trainer's collarbone.
You know, there are several places on the body, and I'm not saying it feels good when you get hit there, but at least a catcher has been hit there before, and they can somewhat prepare themselves to absorb the blow of a wild pitch or a foul ball, but that's not one of them.
No, anything underneath that mask is dangerous right there. They want to keep their head down, but he went for the block and misdirection off the foot of Jennings. Put him in jeopardy right there.
And Brian Pena knows all about that. Ned Yost went out there. He knows all about that. So a walk and a hit batter, and now Johnny Damon. Johnny has walked twice, once with the bases loaded. He's also scored a run. I speculated on Friday, and it didn't take a genius to figure this out, but Tim Collins, who grew up in Worcester, Mass, outside of Boston, was a huge Red Sox fan, and we figured he was 15 years old when Johnny Damon and the Red Sox ended the curse of the Bambino, and won the World Series for the first time in 86 years. That Collins was a Johnny Damon fan, and in fact he was. Johnny got a base hit against Collins on Friday. Now he gets him on a fly ball to left field for the second out in the 8th inning. So that was a thrill for Collins to face Damon on Friday. A little different Johnny Damon than he remembers, though. It was the Johnny Damon with the beard and the long hair.
And playing very well at the time.
And now Ben Zobrist, hit by a pitch with the bases loaded in the 6th inning. Doubled and scored in the 3rd, singled in the 1st. And Trainer took one off the chest protector, and moving up to 3rd base is Rodriguez. That's a wild pitch. The Royals might pack Matt Trainer in a cooler full of ice before he gets on the plane and flies to Boston tonight.
Well, I guarantee he's going to be in that cold tub all the way up to his neck.
And that might not be high enough. Two and 0.
Yeah, Tim's really overthrowing his curveball today, and yeah, normally he has a pretty good touch with it, but the way that when he really bounced it way inside to the right-handed hitter, it's holding on it a little bit too long and a little bit too much spin on it.
So he goes with a changeup, and it's 2-1. Line to right, shallow. Up comes Meyer, and it's going to bounce in front of him. Tampa Bay leads 5-0. And Zobrist has 2 RBIs today.
That's what you really call fighting a pitch off right here. Zobrist didn't hit this ball well. He just got it up above the trademark just enough to get a soft base hit out in right field. Mitch Meyer couldn't come up and make a play on it. He got himself another base hit.
And now Lewis Coleman on to face Evan Longoria. A very tough day, a day in the life of a catcher for Matt Trainer, and we're going to call his day our Chevrolet Plays of the Game.
And this started very early in the game. He did a yeoman's job back there, and runners at third, preventing the ball from getting by. And when you want to know what a catcher's life is really like on a hot Sunday afternoon, and it ends up with the most painful one of all.
He's still in there. And now he's back there for Lewis Coleman. Coleman also pitched in the game on Friday. The Royals 10-4 win. 2/3 scoreless. Evan Longoria went too far. No balls and 1 strike. Longoria has an RBI single, but he's also struck out 3 times. He has Jennings at third, Zobrist at first, and the count is 1-1. Into left field, and it is foul. 1-2 on Longoria. He has 4 RBIs in the series. Rays adding a run here in the 8th on Ben Zobrist's 2nd RBI of the day. Driving in Sean Rodriguez, Felipe Paulino, Blake Wood, Tim Collins, and now Lewis Coleman on the hill for the Royals today. 2-2. Longoria with 13 home runs, 50 RBIs, but batting just .243, and that's the pitch right there that's been giving him some trouble. He has been on the disabled list with an oblique injury, so having a tough time reaching for pitches away and driving him. And he also has a nerve problem in his foot, which comes and goes. So teams have been trying to pitch him away and make him reach for pitches away, and that's what he's doing. Instead of driving him, just kind of reaching and poking at pitches away like that one.
Yeah, and that's a swing of someone who may have a little pain somewhere, you know, because he more or less swung and just sort of spun around with his head down right there. But then again, you get into that situation where you know you can't hit that pitch out there, so you get more in a pull mode, and then you commit yourself to pull, and then the balls go away, and that'll create that same swing also.
Still 2-2. Great catch by a fan. And the suites just above us. Didn't get it right away, but bounced out of his hands, and then he grabbed it in midair. Three and two, and now Zobrist will be running on the next pitch. Strikes out for the fourth time, but the Rays add a run to lead 5-0.
The Rays lead the Royals 5-0 after the game on Boulevard Royals Live. Jeff Montgomery and I will have another wrap-up of this contest as the Royals get ready to head to Boston. We'll talk about the pitching performances of Alex Cobb and Felipe Paulino. Hear from Ned Yost, highlights, analysis, and much more coming up after the game. And you can text your questions in to 432-432 space keyword live. That is coming up in just a bit. Ryan?
All right, thank you, Joel. Looking forward to that as Cesar Ramos takes over for Alex Cobb, who pitched 7 shutout innings, a season high, a career high, 7 shutout innings at the major league level. So it's Ramos, a rookie, to face Matt Trainer, Chris Getz, and Alex Gordon.
Yeah, Ramos, he'll be featuring fastball, curveball, slider, and a changeup.
Matt Trainer singled in the 6th inning, lined out to left in the 3rd. And has been pelted by pitches in the dirt all day. Look at that red mark on the left side of his neck.
Probably get on the plane with ice packs all the way to Boston with that. It's amazing he can turn his neck.
2 balls and 1 strike. First 2 innings, Trainer blocked 3 pitches in the dirt with a runner at 3rd base. And by our count, another one later in the game. So 4 times with a runner at 3rd, he's had to block a ball in the dirt. And then there was the second time that Jennings was hit by a pitch that was on the foot. And the ricochet came up and hit him in the neck. That was in the 8th inning. Top half of this inning. So Cesar Ramos, another rookie, a rookie starter, Alex Cobb, and now Cesar Ramos. And the Rays have used more rookies than any other major league team this year. They've used 13. Right now 8 are on the roster. Ramos coming over from the Padres during the offseason in the trade that sent Jason Bartlett to San Diego. Ramos pitched a handful of games in 2009 and last year in San Diego, but still qualifies as a rookie. The Rays tried to draft him out of high school, but he decided to go to Long Beach State, the same school that produced Evan Longoria. And then the Padres made him a first-round pick in 2005. And he starts his outing with a strikeout, and Trainer is 1 for 3. Well, if you're hitting the road, you can take the Royals with you wherever you go. Just subscribe to MLB.tv. You'll see every Royals game live or on demand right there on your computer. MLB.tv Premium lets you enjoy HD quality, home and away coverage, multi-game view, and the ability to pause and rewind live games. Ball 1 to Chris Getz, who has 2 singles, both to right field. 2-0. And now 3 balls and no strikes. Cesar Ramos, born in Los Angeles. And after striking out Trainer with 4 pitches, he walks Chris Getz.
Not what Joe Madden was looking for right here. It seems like every inning something happens to give the Royals an opportunity to get on the board, and a 4-pitch walk after a strikeout. Bullpen is getting ready.
James Shields out there, a starting pitcher, getting a little bit of work. Here's the Rays bullpen, Frank. Stop me when you can identify a guy that pitched in their bullpen last year. Kyle Farnsworth, Juan Cruz, who's on the disabled list, Brandon Gomes, J.P. Howell, Jake McGee, Joel Peralta, Cesar Ramos. It is a brand new bullpen and a young bullpen, just like the Royals bullpen. The answer to that question would be Jake McGee. J.P. Howell was out all year with a shoulder injury, so you have 1 returner. Kevin Shank, doing some exhaustive research, has discovered that Kyle Farnsworth is not available today. So something happened to him last night in addition to blowing a save here at Kauffman Stadium. And today is the in-between day for James Shields. This is his workout day in between starts, so he is available to pitch out of the bullpen, so that's why he's warming up.
Another result of the 6-man rotation.
1 ball and 2 strikes to Alex Gordon. Still 1-2. Alex 0 for 3 and a victim of the best defensive play today in the 6th inning. Made a line drive up the left field line, and Sam Fuld made a running play just inside the line. And that came with runners at first and second and nobody out. So where would we be right now if that ball gets past Sam Fuld?
In the middle of a rally.
2-2. Flipped into center field. Desmond Jennings makes the play. 2 down. Alex Gordon 0 for 4. Final game of the homestand, and then a week-long road trip begins tomorrow. The Royals will be making their first and only trip to Fenway Park in Boston beginning tomorrow night. It'll be Kyle Davies against John Lester. Well, the Royals won last night in a game that Jeff Neiman started, and Neiman just owned the Royals prior to last night. Ended up with a no decision, so maybe the Royals can do the same thing with John Lester, who has thrown a no-hitter against the Royals. Outside to Melky Cabrera. 4-game series in Boston, and then next weekend the Royals will be in Cleveland.
Well, the Royals are facing pretty good pitching in that 4-game series in Boston. One guy that we haven't seen and probably get a good look at is Andrew Miller, who will be starting one of those games. He was one of the top draft choices a few years ago. And it's kind of interesting to see what he's got to feature.
And now 3 balls and no strikes from Ramos to Melky Cabrera. 1 for 3 today.
You know, with young pitchers, the one thing you really fight against when you first start pitching in big leagues, overthrowing. You know, just trying to find that range where you can command your fastball and the off-speed stuff, and where you can be consistent when you go out.
Second walk of the inning given up by Ramos. And Joe Madden didn't want to do this. A 5-run lead in the 8th inning. And he has to make a pitching change as Ramos only gets 2 outs. So for the second straight night, we'll see former Royal Joel Peralta. Innings today, and then Cesar Ramos struggle in the 8th, giving up a couple of walks in a 5-run game. So he'll have to use at least 2 pitchers in this inning. And for the second straight game, it's Joel Peralta. Last night, Peralta an inning and a third with 3 strikeouts. Billy Butler 0 for 3, 3 ground outs, and one of those ground outs was a double play. He struck out last night against Peralta. Third ball is outside, ball 1.
It's amazing how the pitchers against Billy Butler keep going back to the well. You know they've been chasing breaking balls off the plate, and what's the first pitch from Joe Peralta? Breaking ball off the plate.
And a breaking ball down and away, 2-0. Two and one. Royals still have a ways to go. The potential tying run is in the hole, or as some people might say, in the hold. Some believe that the reference to the hitters coming up have nautical references, as in on deck, and on a boat you would be in the hold. But in baseball it has been transferred to in the hole.
Down in the dugout.
That's the most accurate way of saying it. In the hole or in the hold, which was the original reference, means after the on deck hitter. Three balls and one strike. And speaking nautically, the Rays were just sailing along for the first 7 innings. And we mentioned a couple of times before that the Royals have a ways to go. They only have 4 outs on offense, but they are still, I don't want to say in this game, but still a part of this game, because Joe Maddon's offense just hasn't been able to put up a big inning. They've had runners all day. They have left 11 on base and 8 in scoring position.
Well, Billy can be real selective here and get a pitch he can drive, else take it.
And he pulls it foul, 3-2.
They figured to quick his way back, get a couple back-to-back doubles, and his game looks totally different.
And from the Royals side, they should be even closer in this game. In the 6th inning, they started with back-to-back singles, didn't score. In the 7th inning, back-to-back singles, and didn't score. And the big plays in those 2 innings, Sam Fuld, a running play on Alex Gordon on a line drive in the 6th. And in the 7th inning, Mike Aviles grounding into a double play. The runners take off. And Billy hits a line drive to Longoria, almost through Longoria. And the Royals are scoreless in the 8th. ballpark, as he very well should be, because during our Christmas in July celebration, Frank was among a few other Royals up on Crown Vision with a with a red nose and reindeer antlers singing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
That's it. All the fans out there, Frank White does have a great sense of humor. I'm glad they didn't play the whole song.
Matt Joyce leading off the 9th inning to Melky Cabrera in center field. Matt Joyce 0 for 4. He does have an RBI. Bruce Chen got a laugh out of everybody here today when his comment simply was, "Have you ever seen an Asian reindeer?"
He covers the world.
Now, all of those guys we just showed you are part of an elite fraternity. The best baseball players in the world playing at the highest level, Major League Baseball. They play in front of 30,000, 40,000, sometimes 50,000, and somehow are able to control their nerves, keep their senses about themselves out there with everybody yelling and screaming at them. But you put them up on the Crown Vision and try and get them to sing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and that was a struggle. At one point, Luke Hochaver became so frustrated he ripped the red nose off of his face and the antlers and just threw him to the ground.
Sometimes it's just hard to laugh at yourself, you know, and you don't really sound like you think you sound. Most times it's worse.
One strike now on Robinson Chirinos. Threw the red nose at the cameraman. Not the cameraman's fault he doesn't know the words of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, is it?
No, not at all. Well, in the end, even the dog didn't want to stay by him. He said, come back, help me.
Easy inning for Lewis Coleman. Royals are down to their last 3 outs. Eric Hosmer, Mitch Meyer, and Mike Aviles coming up against lefty Jake McGee, who pitched the 8th inning on Friday, gave up a walk, no other base runners, 3.6 ERA in 16 games. He is the 4th Rays pitcher today and trying to keep things in order so that Alex Cobb can win his 3rd game of the year. And Alex Cobb holding the Royals scoreless in 7 innings. Cesar Ramos and Joel Peralta combined for a scoreless 8th. So Hosmer leads off 1 for 3 with a single in the 7th inning. He's hit in 5 games in a row, and he's 6 out of 13 in this series. We told you at the beginning of the game that Hosmer leads the Royals, and remember, he was in AAA for the first month. He leads the Royals in game-winning RBIs. Since he has been in KC, the Royals have won 25 games, and he's had the game-winning RBI in 9 of those 25 games.
Wow.
Better than 1/3.
We would put an MVP by his name right now for the time that he's been here, because he's been a very exciting player to watch. And, you know, on the offensive side, though, Ryan, but can we put a number of runs saved on the defensive side?
Takes high from Jake McGee. Hosmer did not see McGee on Friday night, so facing him for the first time. One and one.
Yeah, McGee can get that fastball up as much as 97 miles per hour. He's always got a curve and a slider and a changeup to go with it.
One and two. Still a ball and 2 strikes. The Royals have been shut out 4 times this year. They have not been shut out in well over a month. Let me take that back. They've been shut out once this month. That was at Colorado on July the 1st in a 9-0 game. Nicasio 8 innings. Escalona 1 inning. Still a ball and 2 strikes. Royals have been shut out 4 times. They have shut out the opposition 4 times. Got him with a slider down. 1 away in the 9th inning. And now Mitch Meyer playing in right field today, giving Jeff Francoeur the day off. Meyer 1 for 3, also lost a base hit on a good play in left field by Sam Fuld. Jeff Francoeur playing in 97 of the Royals' first 100 games. Doesn't look like we're going to see Alcides Escobar, who will get a full game off for the first time this year. So a couple of everyday guys getting a chance to catch their breath during a very hot homestand. It was 101 degrees yesterday, 98 the day before that, 96 the 2 days before that. So we're getting late in the season. The heat, doesn't matter what kind of shape you're in, the heat's going to wear you down. And now those 2 will be rested as the Royals begin a 4-game series in Boston tomorrow night.
Well, Ryan, they say the dog days are in August, but this year they started in July, and you know, you expect this kind of heat on a regular basis in August. The off days kind of shrink a little bit, and the guys do need a day off every now and then.
2-2 from McGee to Mitch Meyer. Still 2-2. Would you do anything when you had a day off? Would you get a little exercise in, or would you just completely give your body a day off this late in the season?
I would do nothing. Absolutely nothing. Sleep late. Just mill around the house. Just do nothing. I mean, when you play,
you wouldn't even come to the game.
But when you come to the game, you come to the game with the idea that you're going to play. I mean, I never accepted a day off until the first pitch because stuff does, things happen.
Right.
And then I would accept it until the fifth inning. Then, according to how the game is going, then I'd be looking for ways to get in the game, either for defense or pinch hitting, things like that. But I just try to take advantage of free time. When I'm not at the game, just making sure that I get enough rest, I eat right, and things like that. Don't go shopping on the road with the wife during the day. Just kind of let her do her thing and you do your thing. I was averaging 147 games a year, so I just couldn't afford to get it done.
Back-to-back strikeouts for McGee, and now Mike Aviles to the plate. Most of the time, would your manager let you know the day before you're going to have a day off tomorrow?
Yes, every time.
Mike Aviles 0 for 3 today, 0 for 5 since rejoining the Royals. And if you combine what he was doing before he was sent down, he is 0 for his last 15 here. So he got his batting average up over 300 when he was at AAA. Really swung the bat well there, but he inherits the numbers here that he had before he was sent down, and batting .207. .3-0.
Well, this is an area of Mike's game that he's going to have to really work hard to improve, and that's not playing every day. And when you're playing every day, obviously everybody gets better. But when he's playing irregularly like he will be here, he's got to come up with some kind of system that he can go by every day so that when he does play, he's ready to go. Because you can't just go in there and say, well, I'm not playing every day, so that's why I'm not hitting. So at some point, especially when you get to be 30 years old, you have to start thinking about, okay, this is my role. How do I get better at my role?
Left center field, and that's going to drop for a base hit. So even if the Royals don't score in this inning, Mike Aviles at least can go to Boston knowing that he got a hit and feel at the plate here like he did in AAA.
Well, that's true. I mean, that does a lot for him. When you're not playing every day and you can get a 1 for 4 or 2 for 4, you're going to feel good. And that's the one thing you got to realize is, okay, what's my role? Get good at your role, and that's how you have a long career in this game.
Mike Moustakas, 2 ground balls to second base and a pop out to short. 4 RBIs combined in games 1 and 2. And McGee throws a strike. Moustakas did see Jake McGee on Friday, and he grounded out to shortstop. Longoria backs up for a big hop. The throw is low. It eats up Kochman. Moustakas is safe.
Casey was very fortunate this ball didn't get by him here. It looks like Longoria did everything right to shoot the ball down in the dirt, and Kochman did a great job just keeping it in on the infield side of that line.
Using his glove and his lips.
Oh, boy. More glove than lip. But when you're playing good baseball, you close games out like this. This game just kind of goes on and on and on. And this weekend has been one of those games where one of these series where the Rays just haven't looked like the Rays. And
even if they hang on here, the Royals, not just by winning the series, but they outplayed the Rays in the 3 games. And even if the Rays hang on, they've still lost 8 of their last 12. A couple of errors in last night's game, 1 error on Friday, and now an error today. And a bad swing by Trainer. No balls, 2 strikes. Jeff Francoeur will come to the plate if Trainer is aboard. Francoeur 1 man shy of the potential tying run. One ball, 2 strikes. Interesting, that'll be a decision based on the situation, because Francoeur would be hitting for Chris Getz, but Chris Getz is standing on the stairs in the dugout, and he has his helmet on and he has a bat in his hands. To third base, Longoria gets another shot. This one is on target, and the Rays shut out the Royals 5-0. Royals win the series 2-1, and they finish the homestand at 4-2. Tampa Bay wins it 5-0. We'll be right back.